This is TWIS. This Week in Science Epi-snode. It's not an epi-snode. 3, 2. This is TWIS. This Week in Science, episode number 588, recorded on Wednesday, October 12th, 2016. Grab it by the science! Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kiki, and tonight on TWIS we are going to fill your heads with a burrowing bacterium, hardworking squirrels, and space. But first...
Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. False beliefs can come in many forms. Most can be corrected with knowledge. False beliefs that cannot be refuted by facts is a frightful form of madness. And to remain willfully ignorant of the facts is a maddening form of politics. Telling when others hold false beliefs is thought to be an important aspect of human cognitive development. Helps us choose which advice to follow, which to ignore. It's useful in predicting the future behavior of others. And if you're really good at it, you can read minds. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm ignoring it because it has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Apes, it turns out, also have this ability. And while we humans can continue to think we are more advanced in many mental respects to our ape cousins, the purely human trait of theory of mind is all in our heads. And before much longer, so will be a bunch of sciencey goodness, because it's time once again for This Week in Science. Coming up next.
I've got the kind of mind I can't get enough. I want to learn everything. I want to fill it all up with new discoveries that happen every day of the week. There's only one place to go to find the knowledge I seek. I want to know what's happening. What's happening? What's happening this week in science? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening this week in science?
Good science to you, Kirsten and Blair.
And good science to you, Justin, Blair, and everyone out there. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Science. We are back once again with all the science that we can fit in a show and an interview. It's a very exciting day for us. We have tons of sciencey stories. I've got stories about pale blue dots in space. I've got stories about nation space. I've got stories about space for viruses inside of bacteria, inside of insects. Lots of space. What do you have, Justin?
Space brains, mind-reading bonobos, and green energy beer.
And Blair, what is in the animal corner this week?
Oh, in the animal corner, I have a good old-fashioned battle of the sexes.
We don't get enough of that in this world. Seriously. No. Okay. That was sarcasm. Okay. Let's just start this show. Get it rolling we're going to, right off the top, have an interview because it's time to talk about some fun stuff. Joining us tonight is Conni Strittmatter. She's the coordinator of Children's and Teen Services at the Hartford County Public Library in Maryland. And she and others in the library system in Maryland are going to be involved in the Maryland STEM Festival. And so one thing that we really wanted to find out about was what they're going to be doing, because Maryland STEM Festival, we're going.
We're doing that thing.
We're going to Baltimore, everybody. Right? So we want other people to get excited about this too. Conni, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's fabulous. I know it's a late night for you. Over here on the West Coast, I'm like, oh, it's 8:00. My child just went to bed. So thanks for staying up with us a little bit tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and maybe how, with especially working in the children and teen services portion of the library system, you work to incorporate STEM matter into the library?
Sure. So like you mentioned, I'm the coordinator for Children's and Teen Services in my library system. All of Maryland, pretty much all the counties have a similar position to me, and our jobs are to make sure that everybody from Children's Services and Teen Services are getting, great programming into their libraries. And one of the topics that we definitely cover a lot of are STEM topics, and sometimes we'll even call it STREAM, which is kind of everything. We always joke that that's basically just school, but it incorporates.
But better.
Yeah, exactly. Totally better, because it's a really cool, awesome acronym, STREAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Arts, and Math, which is like everything. But the whole point of the library really is to inspire our community to seek more information, to be self-guided learners. So we incorporate STEM into our programming and into our collections to make sure that our community has the opportunity to be self-guided explorers of STEM as well. And especially in Maryland, we know that we're in a unique position where we're so close to the federal government, we're so close to so many major metropolitan areas, that we want to make sure that our communities have ample opportunity to experience STEM, because there's so many STEM careers in our area available to our young people.
Yeah, and the library, I mean, I remember growing up, and it was the place my mom took me once a week, and I would leave with this giant stack of books that I would end up spend reading over the next week, and then go back again and do it all over again. And occasionally there were readings from authors, or if you were a younger child, there's somebody reading a book to younger children. But I don't remember ever, I grew up in a very small rural area, so maybe I didn't get this stuff. Maybe they didn't have it at my library. But has libraries expanded more in terms of offering what they offer as a place of gathering and learning?
Absolutely. I mean, you'll definitely still find the traditional story times, of course, and you'll still find author readings and author visits. But when you walk into a library today, especially in Maryland, you'll find science clubs, you'll find Lego clubs, you'll find in Hartford County, we have something called a Leap Kit. So you'll walk out of the library with a stack of books, but you'll also walk out with a giant tub full of science materials that you can play with at home, that include books and DVDs and maybe a stingray jaw will be in there too. We have that at the library that you can take home. And you'll find musical instruments that you can check out. You'll find American Girl dolls and superhero action figures and everything. It's a pretty amazing experience.
What was it that in your life that made you want to become a librarian and work in library services?
It's so funny. I was just telling this story to someone yesterday, and I was an English major, but oddly enough, one of my earliest memories of being in a library was going to a class learning about meteorology in the library. And I remember thinking, I was probably 7 or 8, and I remember thinking, why am I here learning about clouds? Like, I'm in a library. This is really weird. But it's such a lasting memory that I have, that it's just stuck with me, and I've always been fascinated by the library as a place of learning in the community.
That's really awesome. And what kind of programming, in addition to the normal programming that you do, are you starting to put together, or have you started to organize in thinking about the Maryland STEM Festival?
We have a lot of great stuff. A lot of it is our typical run-of-the-mill STEM, which is wonderful. Run-of-the-mill makes it sound not so much, but it is. It's wonderful programming. So a lot of the library systems are doing their regular coding clubs. We do a lot of coding at the library. We do a lot of robot programs as well. So you'll see a lot of that. A couple of highlights I think that are going to be great. We have a live broadcast with NASA that's happening November 10th at 9 different libraries throughout the state. We're going to have heliophysics experts from NASA broadcasting at those libraries, and it's going to be a really cool experience. And we also have in 2 different counties, an NSA cyber professional coming in digitally and mentoring some of our young teen customers. So it's going to be a really cool time that whole week.
Yeah, that I find, and I was looking through the schedule and I saw a lot of that, and I was thinking how where I'm located, we're far away from the central government, and so something like an NSA representative would probably not be represented at a STEM festival in this area. So that's something that's really unique about
But
what
that, yeah, and that is something, and junior high school through high school, that would have been something I would have loved to have had a chance to participate in.
Yeah, we're really excited about it, and we know, like I said, we have so many great opportunities in this area. I didn't grow up in Maryland. I actually grew up in Seattle, so I totally know what you guys are saying about it's, I'm not used to being near DC. I'm still in awe when I walk around that city. I can't believe, like, oh, look, there's a Supreme Court building. But
right.
It's really great for the community that we can bring those opportunities to them through the library.
Blair, did you have any questions?
I just love that this is kind of being championed by the libraries, and that libraries, when I think about my experience with libraries growing up, it was kind of a safe space. It was a place that I would go after school to hang out with friends, to explore new topics, to do homework. And so this is definitely something that I think is a great way to kind of engage the community, have a safe place for kids to explore new topics. I think it's a great time of year to do all this. Kids are finally back in the swing of school. Is there one particular thing on the STEM Fest schedule that you're looking forward to in particular?
I think probably, I guess that NASA broadcast is going to be really cool. But I think I mentioned a lot of the library systems do robot programming, and we have in Hartford County, we have a program called the Robot Roundup that we're doing. It's going to just be like as many robots that we can possibly fit into the room, basically, and letting families come in and experiment and explore with them. And that's going to be a lot of fun. That's at our Edgewood branch.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go robots. Go play with robots.
Exactly.
Do you have any live animals visiting any library branches as part of the festival?
That's a very distinct possibility. I know we do that a lot over the summer. We actually have the zoo come in, and this past summer, we were actually a little bit frightened because the zoo was really late. They got stuck in awful traffic. And when they showed up, they were like, just so you know, we have an alligator with us, or whatever it was. I'm not it was
but
a
it's
smaller
really
one.
hungry.
Yes, they were like, it's been in the car for how long? And you're going to bring it into the library now? So that was a little terrifying. But we have a lot of fun with the zoo. And we actually have the Franklin Institute come do programming over the summer from Philadelphia as well, which has been really cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome. I'm glad that I've seen my local libraries added newer elements than that weren't there when I was growing up. But I was raised by a librarian, and
Awesome.
and one of my very first jobs was shelving the returns. So, and it's a great place to bring kids in, even if they've been lured in by robots. They may end up going home with a little bit of literature that might inspire them in a different direction.
That's absolutely our hope, always, for sure.
Actually, I do have one more question that I always like to ask librarians whenever I can.
Okay.
Dewey Decimal System, yay or nay?
Oh my goodness, that is opening up a huge can of worms. That's such it's such a big question. I love it because it is so organized, but then people have a hard time finding stuff. So I don't know. That really is like a huge question.
I think the fact that you don't have to just go to the card catalog thing anymore, right? You can go to a computer and put in a few words and find the book, and it'll tell you where to go.
Kids today, they'll never understand the shuffling through the cards.
The card catalog and pulling the card tells you where to go. Yeah.
For back in the day, I remember once I got the Dewey Decimal System down, it was so easy to put the books back where they belong. Now, it might have been harder at one point to find them, but I think today it's probably pretty easy to track down what you're looking for.
It's a fun challenge, though. We do every once in a while with the reference librarians asking each other a topic and then seeing if we can name the number. So, and some of us are pretty good at it. Yeah, some of us are pretty good, but
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Librarian challenge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Name a number, send somebody after the book, see how fast they can find it.
So I guess I've never had the challenge. I've already got the number when I was reshelving. It would be interesting if there was, if you're the one that has to determine what number to assign it. That seems like that could be a little bit daunting.
Yeah, because
Tricky.
we do end up having arguments sometimes. We'll pull a book out of a section and say, wait a second, like this should not be in the 598s. That needs to go in the 613s or whatever it is. But
so then how do you solve the problem? Do you grab a couple of the robots and have like a little robot battle?
Obviously.
Those are the new library rules. That's library of the future. We're gonna have robot battles to determine.
Yeah, a robot and an alligator, maybe.
Oh yeah, actually, that's great.
I'm just imagining 2 will enter, 1 will leave and reshelve a book.
We'll have to add that to the library games next summer. That'll be great.
So back to the science and libraries at hand. How do you think what is the best way for people to come in and take advantage of all the opportunities in STEAM and STREAM, and we could maybe make it SHTREAM if we put science, history, technology, reading, engineering, art. STREAM.
STREAM. I have not heard that yet, and I think I'll suggest it.
STREAM.
STREAM. How do you suggest people take advantage of all the opportunities that the Maryland libraries have to offer, and specifically find events that they might enjoy at the Maryland STEM Festival?
So the first step for sure is to go to the Maryland STEM Festival website, which is marylandstemfestival.org, spelled out all together. If you go there, you'll click on the events tab and you can see everything that's happening all throughout the state. You can filter it by county, or you can filter it by topic if that is what you'd prefer. Oh, look, there it is. Oh, there it is. So when you click on events, like you can filter it however you want to determine where you want to go. So that's a really great way to take advantage for sure. Those events should link to more information from the library websites. And it's not just libraries that are hosting either. There are a lot of times school systems are doing things as well. So it's a great opportunity for a lot of different organizations throughout the state to host these events. So that's definitely one way. Another way is if you live in Maryland, walk into your local library and ask a librarian. That's almost always the answer to so many questions that you might have. Go to a library and ask a librarian. We'll be able to help you. So we can help you find a great program for you. And I would also urge everyone to use this as an opportunity to remember that STEM things happen at libraries all year round. The STEM Festival is a great way for us to promote it, to make sure people are aware of it. But don't just wait for November 4th through the 13th, and don't stop after the 13th. Keep coming back and keep taking advantage of all the stuff that we have to offer.
That's fantastic. I really do think libraries as open facilitators of knowledge transfer, of information, they really are a place where knowledge is free and anybody can come in, anyone can use computers, anyone can take out a book or go to a robot club. So it's, libraries are a place for everyone to be able to quench their thirst for knowledge. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Conni. It's been great talking with you.
No problem. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. And everybody who is in the Maryland, DC area, I do hope that you check out the Maryland STEM Festival website, marylandstemfestival.org, see if there are any events to your interest, and just, go to the library. It's a cool place to hang out. It's quiet. It's very nice.
Sometimes.
Right. Yeah, maybe not during like robot demonstrations or Lego night.
Right. Or when the 3D printer is droning on. We have lots of 3D printers.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Can you check those out?
We haven't been doing that yet, at least in Hartford County, but you can come in and you can print stuff, and you'll sit there and watch it print. We have all kinds of things that people are printing. It's been pretty cool.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool.
It's becoming a library / maker space. That's
Absolutely.
That's the
Green
next level
screens.
library in
But sure.
Industrial librarian magic.
Yes.
I like this. I like this. These are good new titles. All right, everyone. This is This Week in Science. We are going to move on to the science news portion of the show. Connie, once again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
All right, everyone. Don't forget, you can catch This Week in Science at the Maryland STEM Festival November 4th. And we are going to be having so much fun there. I do hope that you will join us at the National Aquarium. It's going to be a great day. Our tickets are booked. Mm-hmm. We are headed that way very soon. All right. This is This Week in Science. Time for some news. This story blew my mind today. It's more a fun story than science, but it could have some interesting implications down the road. A Russian businessman named Dr. Igor Asherbaily, he is the founder of the Aerospace International Research Center, AIRC, in Vienna, which publishes The Room, which is a space journal. Room.eu.com is where you can find that. And he became chairman of UNESCO's Science of Space Committee, and he made an announcement that he is starting a space nation, or a nation space, a place, but not really a place, in space. And it's pretty awesome sounding. It's going to be called Asgardia, after the Norse.
Asgard.
Yeah.
The place where the Vikings go.
Yeah, where Odin ruled from Valhalla, right? In the Norse mythology. Asgardia is what it's going to be called. Founded with the core values of knowledge, science, and intelligence. It has a philosophical mission of serving all humanity and digitalizing the noosphere. A legal mission of creating universal law. Like right now we have international law in which nations are bound by international law, but he wants to create something known as universal law, that in which we are not members of individual nations, we are all earthlings. And this universal law would benefit all humanity. And the third mission is scientific and technological, to quote, have peace, access, and protection for all. And you can go online and become a citizen of Asgardia if you
How
would
much
like.
does it cost?
It doesn't cost anything right now.
Oh.
You can go to asgardia.space, and they're going to keep it open for the first 100,000 people.
I thought you were going to say years.
No, 100,000 people, and then they're going to close it for a while. They might open it again later, but they're going to. And I believe it's, you're not a citizen right away. You have kind of applied for citizenship by putting your name in the hat, and so you'll be considered.
There are 21,000 Asgardians at this time.
Yeah, earlier today when I looked,
How
there
come
were
we got to get in there quick.
That's right. I didn't actually sign up because I had this moment of like, really? I put my name and email on that thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. How many emails am I going to get about the fact that I've renounced my American citizenship and now I'm in...
Okay, so Blair, that's exactly what I was thinking though. Because then I feel like this list could be used. It's like, oh, look here. You signed up to be a citizen of space. Well, I guess that means your rights here don't matter anymore. Come with us.
Yeah.
But
Oh, surprise! Your vote didn't count.
Yeah, so it's
Social Security's for citizens. So
Oh,
you've renounced yours.
yeah.
Bye-bye.
So anyway, I just think this is a fascinating direction. The idea, he is especially the legal aspects, and in his speech, he's really pushing that someday Asgardia will be recognized as a member of the United Nations, and then. And then there will be reasons for granting citizenship. One opinion is that, and this is what he said in his speech, is that the first Asgardians will be those who work in the fields of space research and exploration and space technology, as well as investors in these fields, including small investors. And they're going to be doing crowdfunding. And then the first 100,000 people who apply will get special preference. And they would like to launch a satellite, they want to launch it in 2017, or at least get moving on launching it in 2017. And this space satellite would work to protect the Earth from space bombardment. I don't know
Like
how one.
As
little
long as
meteors?
as long
I
as
don't
the
know.
bombardment is coming right through where that little satellite is.
Tardigrades? Is that what he's worried about?
Yeah, so they're very. If you go, I'll put the link in our show notes later. But his speech is very interesting, and they have very interesting ideas. And I'd love to know what everyone thinks about Asgardia and whether you would like to be a citizen of this new nation space. It sounds. I love it being based in science and knowledge and intelligence. I mean, I love
Sounds
that.
good.
How can you not? Right?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Yeah. Also in space, some pretty neat things. Remember Proxima B, our nearest neighbor in Alpha Centauri, Centauri B. The 3-star system with the Proxima Centauri star had a little rocky planet that appears Earth-like and appears to be in the habitable zone, although a little bit maybe tidally locked to its star. We haven't gotten a really good look at it, but scientists have simulated the planet itself. Researchers at the Marseille Astrophysics Laboratory in France, they calculated a number of size and surface properties. So they simulated a lot of things. Basically said, if this is how big it is and it's this far away from the surface or from the star, or if this is how big it is and this is what it's doing, what is the likelihood that it might have water on the surface? And the researchers say the planet could be an ocean planet with an ocean covering its entire surface, similar water to some icy moons around Jupiter or Saturn, or it could have a small amount of water and be much more similar to what Earth has. Another report is that if there is surface water, it would not contribute more than 0.05% to the planet's total mass. This is similar to Earth, where it's about 0.02%. And so, there's very possible likelihood that it could have an ocean. There could be there could be a liquid ocean on it. And if there is, the simulations do suggest that it would have a thin, gassy atmosphere and temperatures that would allow water to remain liquid on its surface, even though it's close to its star. Remember, Proxima Centauri is a red dwarf, so it's not a super hot star. So it's very possible that it's not too hot. There could be liquid water that doesn't gas off, and that there's a nice ocean on the surface. So anyway, we have to get some equipment out there, which is what people like the Starshot team would like to do in aiming their little tiny robots toward that star system. But there's a new plan not to send machinery directly to Alpha Centauri, but a group is working on sending. This is the Boldly Go Institute. They are working on for about $50 million, maybe if they can get the costs down, $25 million within the next 10 years to put a space telescope up that would allow us to image the planets around Alpha Centauri A and B. Not necessarily Proxima Centauri, because Proxima Centauri, again, the light is a little different, and so it wouldn't necessarily be able to image it the same way. But they want to put actual optical imagers, a telescope in space that would give us an image very similar to the pale blue dot image that was sent to us from Voyager of Earth. And this would allow us to actually image the atmosphere and see if there's water in the atmosphere of any planets surrounding Proxima A and B. We don't know. We think there is one rocky planet that has been discovered around those two stars, but there may be more, and we don't know. We haven't seen them yet. And so actual optical imaging might give us a view of rocks in space around these stars. And so they're crowdfunding. That's what they want to do. They're going to be, this is called Project Blue. Again, it's through the Boldly Go Institute. And they think it can be done for less than $50 million, hopefully $25 million.
Wow, that doesn't seem like a whole lot of money.
I know, when we spend...
Space explorating.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, it is a little bit of a gamble because, like I said, there's only one rocky planet that we kind of do know about. And so we don't know about any others and what they would be like if they are there. So it could be like, hey, let's spend this $25 million and put this telescope up there and aim it and not see anything new or interesting.
I feel like you're going to see something interesting. You might not see what you're specifically looking for.
That's science, isn't it?
But yeah, you're tossing a space telescope out there, you're going to see something
find
new.
stuff. And besides, you look at Hubble. Hubble wasn't designed for the deep array view where we saw the, billions of galaxies out there, right? Or it wasn't designed for that. It's something they figured out after it was already up there and tried out. And then lo and behold, it worked and gave amazing images. So yeah, put it up.
Yeah, so they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
This Project Blue, and so they think they can get a sufficient resolution to image a planet around one of the Alpha Centauri stars, and the telescope would be a 50 centimeter or smaller in size telescope. And for comparison, you brought up Hubble. Hubble's telescope mirror is 2.4 meters. Yeah. So this would be substantially smaller, which would be cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I love looking into the stars and the excitement and enjoyment of what could possibly be out there. Justin, what you got?
Captain's log, stardate number something. We encountered a distress thingy emanating from the galaxy cluster, whatchamacallit, and found a ship full of the guys with the white hair and the antennae. The ship was in need of repair, so we sent over what's-his-name from engineering. Apparently, things ended badly because their ship quietly exploded. So we are now continuing on our mission to wherever it is we're going. Also, there's red flashing lights and annoying alarm that we can't figure out how to turn off. So this is I'm signing off. While this might sound like an episode of Star Trek written during a writer's strike, it could be the real result of too much time in space. A condition called space brain, which as a citizen of Asgardia now, I am particularly concerned with. University of California, Irvine scientists have been probing the space brain phenomena UCI's Charles Limoli and colleagues found that exposure to highly energetic charged particles, like the ones you would find in cosmic rays out in space, will bombard astronauts during extended space flights and can cause significant long-term brain damage, according to tests in research rodents. And these tests resulted in some long-term cognitive impairments and even dementia. So the study appears in Nature's Scientific Reports. It follows one last year showing somewhat shorter-term brain effects from the exposure. They were looking at 6 weeks after. This time they're looking 6 months after the exposure has taken place in the research rodents. And quoting, "This is not positive news for astronauts deployed on a 2 to 3 year round trip to Mars," said the professor of radiation oncology. "The space environment poses unique hazards to astronauts. Exposure to these particles can lead to a range of potential central nervous system complications that can occur during and persist long after the actual space travel part is over with, such as various performance decreasements, memory deficits, anxiety, depression, and impaired decision-making. Many of these adverse consequences to cognition may continue to progress throughout life." There was also something that they discovered, which was the team discovered that the radiation affected fear extinction, which is an active process in which the brain suppresses prior unpleasant, stressful associations. So in that thing where the captain has the red lights of the red alert going and hearing the sounds, that thing might be off, but it's as though they can't release that memory and the anxiety of it, so it would seem like it was still happening. Right?
Sounds rough.
Yeah, that's
Right,
good.
and rough. And then you put the crew of these people. What did Elon want to do? 100 or so at a time, who aren't getting over anything. anything anxious or stressful that happens, and they're not able to get over it for the entire trip. Plus, people who are maybe in charge of whatever critical systems, having some cognitive deficits as the trip progresses, and we have a huge problem. While dementia-like deficits in astronauts would take months to manifest, he says, the time required for a mission to Mars is sufficient for such impairments to develop. People working for extended periods on the International Space Station do not face the same level of bombardment as a Mars mission, however, because they are still within the protective hug of the Earth's magnetosphere.
So can't we fix this with better ships and suits?
So they're looking on creating areas of increased shielding for maybe places where the astronauts are sleeping, that sort of thing. However, according to the researcher here, these highly energetic charged particles will traverse the ship nonetheless, and there's really no escaping them. So this is really high intergalactic cosmic ray energy stuff. That's gonna.
What if I line my helmet with tardigrades?
That I just assumed you were gonna do anyway.
I'd name every one of them.
Yeah, so it's actually causing. I mean, it's sort of like what happens when somebody has radiation-based treatments for cancer and the like. And so it's pretty well with that. That happens in shorter periods of times with the larger bombardment, but if you're for longer periods of time with those high energy particles, you get, it appears, the same result of that sort of dementia.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that, it's, this is a study in mice. This is, the behavioral stuff, they're looking at it just in mice, but the mammalian neurons are probably all going to respond very similarly.
Yeah, they looked 6 months after the exposure to the research rodents, and it revealed that the brain's neural network was impaired through the reduction of dendrites and spines on the neurons, which therefore disrupted transmission of signal between brain cells. And Yeah. So then they had these behavioral tasks for learning and memory, and the research rodents did much, much more poorly after.
Yeah, so basically you have radiation that gets in there, mucks up what's going on inside the cells that go, I don't want to touch other cells anymore. And so the cells don't, and then they don't talk to each other anymore. And then your head, because you have a bunch of neurons that aren't talking to each other anymore, you don't want to talk to other people anymore.
Mm.
Kind of what happens.
How's that?
Mm-hmm. I'll keep that in mind for when I move to space.
For our space nation.
Yes.
Yeah, I really do hope they figure out the shielding issue, because that is it's a huge deal. It's a really big deal.
The shielding may not materially be possible. Okay. There might be some form of trying to recreate a magnetic field kind of thing, but they say right now the most likely thing that they could do short term is pharmacological. Create drugs
To help fix it or stop it.
They've got compounds they say that they're working on that can scavenge free radicals and protect neurotransmission. So it may be more of a biotech answer to the problem.
I feel pretty confident we're going to solve it. This seems like something that is fixable, and I'm glad we found it.
Yeah, but the other way to go is, just get circuits, get electronics that can withstand the radiation better than human neurons. And then we upload our consciousness, and then we go to space, not physically, but
proxy.
Yes. Avatars in space. There we go.
I like this idea.
Who's going to space?
How come my robot is lying on the space couch eating space chips and watching space flicks all day? Wait. Is that, maybe we shouldn't have used my consciousness for this mission, because that seems like what's taking place.
It's either
exactly.
How come my avatar is spending the whole time petting the space cat?
Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Like Avatar, you are. That's right. You know what time it is if you just tuned in? This is This Week in Science, and it's time for Blair's Animal Corner.
She loves our creatures, great and small. Biped, millipede, no pet at all. Wanna hear about animals? She's your girl. Except for giant pandas and squirrels. Animal Corner.
What you got, Blair?
I have a good old-fashioned, down and dirty battle of the sexes. Who's the smartest? Who's the strongest? And who is going to get eaten?
I was going to say Blair's is the smartest and the strongest.
And I'm not going to get eaten.
You're not going to get eaten, no.
Yeah.
You're too smart for that.
So I actually have 3 stories that have 3 very different views on this. So the first is actually about Arctic squirrels in Alaska. And a study, I will right away tell you the sample sizes from Northern Arizona University. This was published in, it was a team, Northern Arizona University, University of California, and University of Alaska, all looked at Arctic squirrels, and their study was published in the Royal Society of Open Science. And they trapped 18 male squirrels and 30 female squirrels, so not a huge sample size, but still a decent representation. And they put collars on them to find out whether they were above or below ground. And they also had accelerometers on them so they could figure out their movements and when they were active and inactive. And they looked at them at 2 living sites in 2014 and 2015, and they charted their activities. And what they found was that when they weren't hibernating, so this is late spring to early fall, the females were super busy. They were above ground, they were below ground, they were moving around. The males were a little lazy. They spent a lot of time, quote, lolling about, and spent most of their days above ground. So the researchers extrapolated that it's most likely the females were moving around more because they were consuming food pretty much constantly during this time, fattening themselves prior to carrying babies, growing babies inside of them, and then producing milk to care for the babies after birth. But the males, their hypothesis was that they spent time laying out in the sun, keeping warm. Now, my favorite part about this study is that this study was done not to see how males and females act, but why males were getting eaten by and large more than females by predators. And so they think it's because the males were basking in the sun, enjoying their day, while the females were flitting around eating everything they could find. So they were easy prey.
And maybe it has to do with the males they're basking, so they're not paying attention, right? They're taking little naps and
little squirrel naps.
Yeah. Whereas the females, because they're paying attention, because they're looking for food, they're alert and they are in an active state as opposed to relaxed and quiescent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, the males were somewhat more energetic during one short time span of the year. Can anyone guess what that was?
Mating
Yeah?
season.
Mating season.
Yeah.
There was one outlier in the study, though. There was one male squirrel. I wish they had named him, but they didn't. And he was busier than all of the other males and females in the study. But the researchers have no potential explanation for this behavior.
Wow.
I think he just really hated the collar. That's my guess. Yeah, so those are the squirrels. Now on the flip side.
But I do have a question. I
Yes.
would love to know, what does this tell me about the kamikaze squirrels? I guess that is during spring. So they're the squirrels just run across the road in front of you and you go, and you slam on your brakes and you try not to hit them. Right? Are those?
Wait, no, you don't hit. No, you do not brake for squirrels.
But I'm just
do
wondering.
Not brake for squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
You might hit the brakes for deer, but you don't hit it for a squirrel. That's the first lesson of country road living. Because I guess maybe if
Justin,
you're out.
Haven't you seen Kiki's license plate cover? It says "I brake for squirrels."
I brake for squirrels.
But I guess if you're out in the farmland and there's one car per 100 acres,
and there's nobody behind you, you don't have to worry about it. Exactly.
But I learned how to drive on mountain roads.
That's where I grew up.
Where if you hit the brakes and you went off a little bit to the side, you go off the mountain. So you didn't brake for squirrels. That was the rule.
The kamikaze squirrels, I'm not sure this would explain very well. A, because these are Arctic squirrels. They're in a pretty barren area. But B, because I think that's just because squirrels are really frustrating and stupid. Anyway.
And then we'll get back to the song and other stories of why Blair doesn't like squirrels. So anyway, moving on. The flip side, you said.
So the flip side. So we have the females that are busting their tail and the males that are just lolling about in the sun. Then there are a group of birds called coucals, which are related to cuckoos, which are from Africa. There are black coucals and there are white-browed coucals, and they have different roles in their broods. So the black coucals, the males care for their broods all by themselves. The white-browed ones actually pair up for monogamous seasonal pairs and care for their babies together. Why? These two actually have habitats that overlap, and they're extremely closely related. So why is this happening? The easiest explanation, the explanation that is most clear from researchers from the Max Planck Institute for Ornithology in Sweden, their explanations are that the black coucal, the species where a female mates with up to 5 different males during each season, Then after the eggs have been laid, each of her mates take care of the brood alone, and then the female defends her large territory and lays eggs for the next male in line. This happens because the males vastly outnumber the females. In this other closely related species, the white-browed coucal, they have almost a 50-50 split of the sexes. So they would be better off to pair up. What's especially interesting about this research is that the black coucal fathers feed their young 4 to 5 times more often than the white-browed parents combined. So most likely this is actually because of the food choice. They hypothesize that the white-browed birds are feeding their young more frogs, and the black ones are feeding them insects, so they need to do more work. And they even hypothesize that the white-browed coucal parents, one of them would be enough to take care of the brood, because if the single father of the black variety is feeding his babies way more times a day, then one parent of the white-browed could absolutely get it done. So why is it happening? It's simple supply and demand. There are 2.5 males for every female in the black coucal population, so the females can do pretty much whatever they want, and the males have to be stuck there to take care of their babies. When it's half and half, the female is unlikely to find additional partners, so she's better off keeping her current mate happy and working together with him. So that's kind of the other side of the die, or the coin, perhaps. And then all the way in the other ballpark, we have the ultimate sacrifice. And this, of course, I'm referring to post-coital cannibalism in spiders. My favorite! Yeah!
Subject.
So dark fishing spiders, if Kiki could share a picture from...
I will.
The females are huge compared to the males, not unlike other species that we've talked about in the past. A recent study from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and Gonzaga University has found that the males will basically surrender themselves to cannibalism, and that there is actually a huge benefit to that. It is indeed the ultimate sacrifice. Yes, so the male dark fishing spiders, they actually begin to curl up immediately after mating with a female, and then she will eat him. So the sacrifice appears to increase the number, size, and survival odds of the future spiderlings. And they did this study where they also took crickets that were the same size as the male spiders, did not have the same beneficial effect. There is something about the spider male that is uniquely beneficial to her laying more eggs, having larger babies, and having those babies survive more.
That's so weird. So it's not just the nutrition. Not just
the nutrition. And the male's anatomy actually functions to force him to sacrifice himself. So the male will make his deposit with his pedipalp, and then a bulb inside the pedipalp, quote, goes off like an airbag. The bulb remains inflated, and the male's body curls. His heart slows, and it would stop beating within hours if he were not eaten first.
Well, I'm gonna die anyway. Might as well get eaten.
Yeah, and they think that the reason for this, actually, it's kind of interesting, is, again, it's down to the dynamic kind of supply and demand. So the males want virgin females. That's because the likelihood of fathering babies drops severely as soon as she has mated with a single male.
Right. We talked about that last week, right?
Right. So it's always more likely that you're going to father more babies if you get a virgin. So as time goes by, the number of virgins in a mating season, if that's what you want to call it for spiders, the number of virgins decreases. So that means as the weeks go by, there is less chance of them bagging another virgin. There's no point to them even being alive anymore. But on top of all of that, the self-sacrifice helps their babies survive in huge numbers, way more than any present that they could bring to the female in this species, more than any other care that they could give to these babies. They are instead giving the ultimate sacrifice of their body to be eaten.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something. I'm just wondering if there's something that they're missing about what happens as he self-destructs, or as.
I think it's purely psychological.
It's purely. I'm just wondering, like what happens, like when the female eats the male. Is there something that the scientists haven't seen yet?
Right. I think that this is a rich vein of study because there's obviously some sort of compound or chemical reaction.
There's something
going on that makes the male, because the next step in my mind would be to take a male that she hadn't mated with and feed it to her.
Yes.
Does it have to be genetically the same male that just gave you sperm?
Mm-hmm.
Does that have to do with it somehow? Is it just any male of that species? Is it a different spider male of a different species?
Or could you dress up?
We know that.
Could you dress up a cricket? Can you dress up a cricket to look like a spider? Because I think it's psychological. I think it's just a mental kick that she's getting on having to taken everything that he had.
We're going to call it spidercology instead of psychology.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Spycology?
Oh my goodness.
So Identity 4, I think won the internet tonight with Kirsten Sanford's license plate cover says, "I break for squirrels." Justin's license plate cover, covered in dead squirrels.
And on that note, we're going to bring the end of the first half to an end. We have finished the first half of This Week in Science. We're going to take a quick break. Don't leave. Or if you do, just take a quick break, because we're going to be back in just a moment with more science news, because there's lots more coming. We've got cool nesting doll bacteria, viruses, and I don't know, thinking apes like us, but not us. Stay tuned for more This Week in Science.
You heard with more than intuition. The line of reason shows the way to go. No conclusion. The methods of hypothesis and patience are the only things.
Hey everyone, I hope you're looking forward to the Maryland STEM Festival as much as we are. We're very excited to be joining the Maryland STEM Festival on their opening day. We will be at the National Aquarium in Baltimore, Maryland on November 4th. So please check out our website, TWIS.org, for information, links to our Facebook event page. We have a Facebook page also with an event page for it. But really what you're going to have to do if you want to go to the STEM Festival, if you want to come to our live show on November 4th, you're going to have to go to the National Aquarium in Baltimore, Maryland, buy a ticket there, and just go to the aquarium and come see us. There's no extra special ticket price or anything like that. It's just entrance to the aquarium. So support the aquarium, enjoy some science, have some good fun on a Friday, November 4th in Baltimore, Maryland. TWIS also has merchandise that you might enjoy. So head on over to TWIS.org and click on our Zazzle store link to take you to our Zazzle store, where we have items like hats and mugs and tote bags and smartphone covers and trucker hats and all sorts of things with the TWIS logo emblazoned all over it. Also, we have art from the 2016 Blair's Animal Corner calendar, and also from the Patreon rewards that she gave out during the last year. There are new ones coming. It's going to be very exciting, but go to our Zazzle store, click on the Zazzle link, and go to twis.org, click on the Zazzle link, and support TWIS by buying and showing off your TWIS swag. Also, we are supported by donations by listeners just like you. Our listeners support us and help us keep doing what we do. We bring you the science week in, week out, with only the every once in a while break in service. It's very rare for us to take a break from the show. But we are really produced by you. You executive produce us and allow us to do what we're doing. We don't have any advertising. It's all you people, you listeners. You keep us going, and we thank you for it. But if you'd like to support TWIS, you can support us by clicking on the big donate button on the webpage, twis.org. Go there, scroll down the sidebar. You can donate. It takes you to a page where you can donate through PayPal. Additionally, we have a Patreon account. So if you click on the Patreon link, that will take you to our Patreon page, where there's a nice big button that says Become a Patron. And then you can become a TWIS patron and support us at any level that you choose, whether it's $1, $2, $3.14. Ha 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 ha. We've got some good ones in there. And for the $15 or more per episode level, Blair will hand draw you a picture. It's one of the pictures that went in the 2016 Blair's Animal Corner, but she's got new art this year. There's some cool stuff that she's been working on. I think I saw a mammoth and a bivalve thing. I don't know.
Can we make one of the quick buttons that you can press, the 3.14? Can we make that a thing?
No, not a quick one. But we do have this Become a Patron button, and then you can pick your reward, the reward of your choice. That's on Patreon. And if you are unable to support us financially, we absolutely understand us. And our executive producers support us in many, many ways. And one of those ways is through sharing us with their friends, talking us up, telling people about us, telling people that they should listen to our interview with the awesome volcanologists who were on a volcano last week, who should check out our interview with the Maryland librarian about science in libraries. Check out our show for the awesome science news that we do. Talk us up, tell your friends, put us on social media. That is a huge part of helping to support TWIS. And if you can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. We thank you for your support. We really could not do this without you.
Was all laid down in black ink, never even bothering to stop and think. The only real power that I do believe is the dollars and cents all these authors receive. If miracle wonders were held in their looks, why waste precious time and try selling their books? Why sit and wait for your publishing royalty if one has real power?
And we are back with more This Week in Science.
Oh, yeah, we are back, and we've got all sorts of science. Hey, Justin, can you read minds? Is that the story that you're going to tell me?
I think that is it's time for the mind reading story. So
Yeah.
the capacity that we have to tell when other people have a mistaken belief is one of these key components to humans being so cognitively superior to the animal world, all those other life forms that we share the planet and all of our entire evolutionary history with. And yet there seems to be these dividing lines that are pretty stark between their cognitive ability and ours. And humans developed this ability pretty early on. It says here, usually before the age 5, it marks the beginning of a young child's ability to fully comprehend the thoughts and emotions of others. And these skills are, of course, essential for getting along with people, predicting what they might do. It also underlies ability to trick people into believing something that isn't true. It's our misdirection, our subtle lying and fibbing to get away with things. And when this sort of trait is missing in children, it is considered to be an early sign of autism. So it's one of these markers they're looking for to sort of predict if a child is going to have some cognitive issues later on. So this is what separates us from the animals. But new research on chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans suggests our primate relatives may also be able to tell when something is just in your head. Studies here show that apes are remarkably skilled. Actually, previous studies are showing that apes are remarkably skilled at understanding what others want, what others might know based on what they can see and hear, their mental states, this sort of thing. But when it came to understanding what someone else is thinking, even when those thoughts are false, apes have consistently, in the tests that they've constructed in the past, failed at this study. So they created a new study, a new test to sort of see whether or not these apes could tell if somebody was performing an act based on faulty information. So in the studies, what they did is they've actually created, this is fantastic, they created a couple of videos that go along with their actual study. And the first one, they've got somebody who's dressed in a King Kong suit, and he's hiding himself in a large haystack. And as the video is playing here, here comes King Kong, and there's a man who's looking for him. The man is out there, and he's searching for him. The King Kong ducks into one of the two haystacks, and the man, of course, knows where he is. And in the video, it's sort of showing the man with the stick whacking the haystack. Now the man comes back out. The ape hides in the other stack. And again, it looks like the man is going to be able to find him. And he does. He whacks it with the stick. The King Kong runs away. Third experiment, the man came out without the stick. The ape is hiding in one of the haystacks. The man goes back to get his stick. And the King Kong runs away. And now the man comes out. And what it's tracking is the eye movements of the apes that are actually watching this video. And they're all looking kind of at the one that he knows the man is going to be fooled into thinking it's in. And of course, so the man tracks it. So they're anticipating the misdirection, the success of the misdirection. And in the second video, they did sort of the same thing, but it was a little simpler. It was the King Kong suit guy pretending to be an ape, I guess, hiding a rock under a box. And it's two boxes, and he'll hide it in one or the other. And when the human can see which box the King Kong has hidden the rock, he pulls it towards him and selects the correct box. And you can see the eye movements are following where the correct box is, anticipating that the man who saw it is going to pick that box. So then towards the end of the video, what they do is the same sort of thing. The ape hides the rock under one of the boxes. The man sees it, but then the man leaves the room, and King Kong takes the rock away and runs off with it. And so then when the man comes back in, you'll again see the eye tracking of the apes in the experiment, anticipating that the human will choose the box where the misdirection took place. Maybe giggling a little bit to themselves while watching this silly human.
These movies are so fantastic too, because they've got the King Kong or the ape character is a person wearing an ape mask, acting like an ape. So,
and they've got a little mirror so you can actually see the ape in the experiment, and then these electronic dots that sort of highlight where the looking is taking place. Okay, so there, in this part of the video, the man has left the room. The King Kong takes the rock away, runs off with it, and now re-enters the human. And this little ape is going to go, I know which one you're going to choose, because you got suckered. You got totally fooled. Mwahaha.
Mwahaha.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So this is a very fascinating find, and it does give the theory of mind that we are so attached to as humans as being that thing that can't be done. And then, of course, it's already been encroached on by apes a bit, but this takes it to a really subtle, intricate level where they can see the misdirection and predict the future behavior. They can sort of track the thoughts of the players in the videos.
Yeah, I think the methodology they've used is a good one, because historically, like we've talked about this many times, we've got dogs and many animals that have kind of now passed these theory of mind tests, and here we are going, but the apes we're related to, how did they, with their social behaviors and everything, not have this? And it's just, why have they not passed these tests yet? And it's just, sometimes in science, it's a matter of finding the right test, asking the question in the right way, finding a way to, if you can't find an animal-centric platform, a way to put it together, make it coherent for the animal, then you have to find a new way, like what they've done here, watching where the ape's eyes are going, which we've done in children as well.
And it's also interesting to me. It's also interesting to me when we bring up the dogs, that we sort of gave a little bit of ground with the dogs, saying, well, the reason dogs are so good is because they're domesticated and they've spent so much time with humans and have been dependent on humans that they've learned to read our faces and sort of guess based on that sort of communication that they've held throughout this whole domestication process. And then they ran this study with wolves, and the wolves were better at it. So, it's more likely that this was an intuitive thing already within wolves, which made them easy to domesticate and have that sort of relationship with us in the first place. It's actually gotten a little worse with time. But,
which breeds were they testing?
Of course, but there is, I think more and more we sort of peel away that separation between man and beast, and that we can find that the beasts have much better cognitive abilities than we imagined. And we also see examples in society of humans acting pretty bestial.
Oh, very beastie. Very bestial. Absolutely.
Beastie people. So maybe not that different than animals.
And maybe we are just influenced by those little tiny things inside us that we've been evolving with for millions of years.
Yeah.
Mwahaha. So there's bacteria and viruses. So there's a study out this week, and there are two studies out this week involving a species of bacteria called Wolbachia. And Wolbachia is pretty interesting because in some species it is beneficial and it helps them. It can be symbiotic with some hosts. And in other species, it can actually be pathogenic, and this bacteria can actually break out of cells that it's in and dive into other cells to infect the other cells. And there's some really interesting stuff going on. One study found that this is published this week in PLOS Genetics. It's out of the Instituto Gulbenkian de Ciência, IGC, in Portugal. And the researchers were looking at the Wolbachia, exposing this Wolbachia that's found in a strain of Wolbachia that's found in fruit flies to viral infection. And so they say that their previous work had shown that Wolbachia can protect fruit flies against viruses, and that different strains of the bacteria can actually confer different levels of protection against the viruses. And so they gave different strains. They looked at flies that had these different strains when they were exposed to the viral infection. And they basically found that there were some strains that allowed the fruit flies to evolve and or adapt and have more fitter offspring, even in the face of viral infection, than other strains. All of the fruit flies exposed and the bacteria exposed to the same virus. It's just different strains of bacteria which symbiotically live inside the fruit flies. So the Wolbachia infect the fruit flies and can actually influence evolution.
Wild.
Yeah. So one of the researchers says hosts and symbiotic bacteria are acting as a unit in response to pathogen infection, with the evolution of both genomes contributing to host adaptation. We believe similar results will be observed with other bacteria and animals. So we look at these relationships that we have with the bacteria that exist within us. And then it's not just, one, like we talk about one kind of bacteria. It's a kind of bacteria with lots of little variations, or they're different strains. They're very similar, but maybe a little bit of variation amongst them. And so how does that variation actually influence the symbiotic host relationship and survival? So great. So fantastic. And then the other study that was similarly just fascinating, this is, there's a big write-up on it by Ed Yong in The Atlantic this week. And their work was published in, it was in Nature Communications. And it's looking at the genetics of Wolbachia. And so this one, if you've ever sung that song, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly.
Perhaps she'll die.
Perhaps she'll die. Mm-hmm. And then there was an old lady who swallowed a spider. And then it goes on and on and on because of the fly, and then the spider, and then the
mouse, and then it's a cat, and then it's a dog, and then it's a cow for some reason, and then it's a horse. So she died, of course. But here we've got no dying happening. But what we really have is a fascinating, similar nesting doll setup of things that have ended up inside of other things. And what they're looking at is Wolbachia. So we've got this bacterium that will exist inside the cells of insects. So like a spider, for instance, it'll be in the cells of the spider. Now, that Wolbachia can be infected with a virus. So there's a phage. Phage are bacterial viruses. So this phage could be infected the bacteria. And then they find out that there's actually, this is circular because they did a genomic survey of Wolbachia and found out that there is a spider toxin gene, the spider toxin that makes the bite of the black widow really deadly, right? That's in the virus that lives inside of the bacteria that lives inside of the cells of the insects.
No.
I love the way that Ed put it all together. It's just so perfectly, he tells the story perfectly. So the DNA analysis that they've determined is that at some point it was beneficial that the virus, that because the bacteria with the virus was inside of the cells of the insects, it was beneficial for them because sometimes different strains of virally infected Wolbachia will end up in other cells in the same insect. And so then if one Wolbachia discovers that there's another Wolbachia with an infection, it'll break out of its cell to infect another cell and attack the other strain of Wolbachia. And so to be able to go into a cell and infect a cell is one thing, but to be able to get out of that cellular environment and be inside of the insect environment and not get destroyed, and then to go back into another cell is like this massive, it's a very complicated undertaking in terms of bacterial survival. And so the researchers think that at some point it was very beneficial to grab onto that DNA, and that there was a transfer of this DNA that allows the Wolbachia to break in and out of the cells of insects, because the toxin gene that is involved is for a toxin, latrotoxin, that is in black widow spider venom, and it breaks down the cells. It basically breaks down the cell membranes of the cells that have been touched by this venom, and so the cells just start leaking outward. They become very leaky, and so the spiders might have gotten this latrotoxin from a virus, but it's highly unlikely. The higher likelihood is that the phage at some point picked up the spider DNA, and then Wolbachia picked up the phage, the virus. But it's this fascinating, like, matryoshka of nature, which...
How much of us is even us, man?
Right?
I can't even deal with it.
What
even
I'm just the
am
part of me
I?
that I'm the part that has to go to work all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
The rest, I feel like the rest of me is just getting a free ride. Whatever else is going on, just free riding.
Yeah, so we know that, like, in our own DNA, we have retroviruses that exist latently in our own DNA that don't really do anything anymore, or so we think, but maybe they do. And a lot of viruses, actually, and bacteria, there's a lot of horizontal gene transfer among these organisms. They don't, the idea of their own personal genome is very slippery. They're like, just shed a little DNA, grab a little DNA. They're in this very loose cellular DNA environment, where you can imagine if you're inside of a cell and there are little bits and pieces of DNA or RNA that are floating around in the cellular soup in the environment that could, if you have the right machinery, that you can grab onto. And if it works for you, it makes you better and stronger, and you go on to infect more. And so this is something that's very beneficial for viruses and for bacteria to do. And so it's just fascinating. We don't know how much or how often that happens, how much or how often it leaks up to higher organisms like us. But it's fascinating to see this kind of, that this is the first example anybody has ever seen of insect DNA inside of a bacterium. Yeah. It's very exciting.
And
Wolbachia.
It's this sort of concept that is dying now, which is that we're sort of different than the bacteria, right? That we're unaffected. Like, we're not affected by immediate evolutionary exchange of DNA, because that's not how we operate. We have evolved far above that scale. But now that we know how dependent and active the microbiota is, if these things can take place in our guts or somewhere, then, it is affecting us immediately. It could be creating or preventing diseases for all we know.
Right. Could be. And in another interesting thing that Ed focuses on is other research that this group is going to be moving in on, which are other genes that are part of this this phage, this viral DNA. What it's got are genes that Wolbachia possibly uses to manipulate the sex lives of its hosts as well. What? So there are some other very fascinating aspects to Wolbachia and its viral load, right?
Viral
DNA,
load indeed.
Viral DNA in a bacteria affecting the insect. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Justin, got another story?
Yeah, I do. As soon as I can find it. Green beer, right? It's one of these things that we raise up St. Patty's Day. They'll put a little of the food coloring in there. Everybody's got the green beer, right? Well,
Right.
it's not just for St. Patty's Day anymore. It's a terrible teaser, but that's the story. Colorado University Boulder engineers have developed a biomanufacturing process that uses a biological organism, a fungus, cultivated in brewery wastewater to create the materials they need to make energy storage cells. It says here, breweries use about 7 barrels of water for every barrel of beer produced, says Tyler Huggins, graduate student at CU's Boulder's Department of Civil and Environmental Architectural Engineering and the lead author of the study. For those unfamiliar with the measurement, it's a measurement barrel. And it's not quite the wine barrel, but it's about approximately. It's approximately 2 kegs to every barrel, and there's about 124 true pints to every keg. So using seven times, you're talking about 14 kegs of water that are used to produce the 2 kegs of beer. Process of converting biological materials or biomass, such as timber, to carbon-based battery electrodes is currently used in some energy sectors, but using biomass that is naturally occurring has been pretty limited. It's in short supply. There's too much problems with extraction and the chemical makeup, making it expensive, difficult to optimize. So what the researchers here did is they basically found a fast-growing fungus that they could cultivate in the sugar-rich wastewater of a brewery. And this is a Neurospora crassa that they used. And it turns out the fungus flourished. And this flourishing fungus it creates the chemical processes that are necessary to create naturally derived lithium-ion battery electrodes. So we're talking about something that can be utilized in the most cutting-edge form of energy storage today. So, yeah, this is fantastic on a couple fronts because the fungus flourishes. It creates an energy storage device, which is, as we've talked about many times on this show, one of the keys to that whole sort of green energy economy is going to be storage. You can capture all the solar you want, but if you don't have a way to store it, it's only going to be good during the day. Right? So storage device plus it actually is a way of treating this wastewater.
Portland is going to be just rolling in it. This is amazing.
Colorado, Portland, California's I think got more microbreweries than any other state.
It's good.
This
Portland. Well, Portland, not state,
the city of Portland versus all of California. You're saying? I mean, you got the new hometown spirit, and I really appreciate that. But I put the whole state of California, and you said nope. Portland has more breweries. Now you have the only, and I will say this is a superpower, an advantage nobody else has touched. You have the only brewery, pub / movie theater that I've ever been to.
There are several.
Now there were 2 I
Kiki,
think when I
I'm
was
coming.
there a long time ago.
That's right.
But that is one of the
set up the couch.
That's not
I'll
everywhere.
be there.
And flying out, it's not lots of fungus in Portland. There are lots of breweries in the area, and it would be easy to set up something like this. That's a great idea.
I'm sure there's plenty of fun guys there too. The research was funded by the Office of Naval Research. It was, I guess they won a contest. They had they went to, where was it? It's in here somewhere. But they won some sort of contest for the concept, and so they got some funding to sort of prove their concept, and it looks like it's working. Now, it was the U.S. Department of Energy sponsored startup incubator competition at Argonne National Laboratory in Chicago, where they competed. Yeah.
I like it. This kind of sustainable energy I can get behind 100%.
It's like, doing my part, trying to create the green economy, 1 pint at a time.
One pint at a time. That's right. Ready for some last stories? So, hey, new dwarf planet found in our solar system. Very exciting discovery from space scientists at the University of Michigan. And it's actually the credit goes to students. They had a challenge to find some new objects. This is, a challenge. Hey, we're constructing a galaxy map, so why don't you find us some new objects? Students, get to work. Well, they created software that can analyze imagery from the ongoing dark energy surveys, dark energy camera, and it looks for moving objects in any given patch of sky. And the idea is that if we can see them moving, that means they're close enough for them to be within our solar system, because we're moving and they're moving. And so it's a sign that they are in our solar system. And so anyway, they were looking and looking, tracking these images over many, many lights, looking at one image versus another, and tracking them from night to night to look for in what they call a connecting the dots kind of way. So it's not a long stream, but a much more connect the dots type movement reveal. Took them 2 years, and they discovered a dwarf planet. They're calling it a dwarf planet. It might not remain a dwarf planet, but it's within the Kuiper Belt. It's about 14 billion kilometers away from our Earth. Takes 1,140 years to make an orbit, and its snazzy, snappy name is 2014 UZ224. It's just 300. Yeah, it's about half the size of Pluto. 330 miles across.
And I have to interrupt here really quick. Just for those not familiar with kilometers, 14 billion kilometers is about the same as 14 trillion meters.
Well done.
Approximately.
Nicely done. Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. So they're continuing to look to see if they can find any new objects. This is a great proof that that it does work, that they can find something, anything out there. But hopefully they'll find other objects in our solar system. They're going to keep their eyes out for that hypothesized Planet 9 as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. Blair, what do you have?
Oh, so I have another use for beer before we finish out the show.
Very cool.
Beer helps ease pain. You may say, I knew that.
Hallelujah.
But for snails, a graduate student from the SUNY College for Environmental Science and Forestry wanted to find a humane way to euthanize snails in her laboratory, and found that the answer was a few ounces of beer or a 5% ethyl alcohol solution as the first step in a two-step process, which sedates and immobilizes the snails before their terminal dunk in a 95% ethyl alcohol solution. Yeah, so the traditional euthanization involves just pretty much dumping them right in there, and they show physical signs of stress. They retract their tentacles, expel mucus, defecate, and
So
retract.
She gets them drunk.
Yeah, so and they retract so deeply into their shells. Not only are you bothering these snails, disposing of them in a terrible way, but it also makes their tissue difficult for researchers to access, which takes away part of the point of this whole process. So after a dip in beer, it was about 4.7% alcohol. They were just kind of chilled out. They were immobilized. They were unresponsive to stimuli, such as a needle, scrape, or a prick. And then they would either be back to normal in about an hour, or if they were dropped into the terminal solution, they die quickly without reaction. So that's good news for laboratory snails. And
I would like to say for gardeners everywhere. If you've ever had a garden and tried to get rid of slugs or snails, one of the things they tell you to do is put out little jars or lids of beer. I don't know whether they accidentally fall in or they're attracted to it, but they become a little sink, a drowning pool for the little slimy sluggos. So
They love beer.
it just, at least we now know they are drowning painlessly and happily.
So next time you
gardeners
find
everywhere
beer in a lab,
rejoice.
it's not a scientist drinking on the job.
Maybe.
It's a scientist being humane with their laboratory snails. And my very last story, real quick, with tropical frogs, climate change could be a greater threat than deforestation. Researchers from UC Berkeley found that declines in frogs' thermally suitable habitat from climate change alone could be up to 4.5 times greater than declines attributable to land cover change only, such as cutting forest and raising agriculture. So frogs are amphibians, which means they're indicator species. They're basically the canary in the coal mine for a lot of habitats. So if this is their greatest threat is climate change, I'm just saying, might be some other animals' greatest threats.
You're just saying you weren't serious.
I am.
So all the things, that we've been worrying about, the pesticides and stuff that we've been shouting about on this show for years, about the fungicides and things. It's like, oh, they're killing the frogs. We have to stop doing that. That's just fine. Don't worry about that anymore.
No, I didn't say that.
Climate change.
Don't say that right before the end of the show. There's combined stressors, which means even those things will affect them more if they're already being affected by climate change. But I think it's important to state that a 4.5 times greater effect on their suitable habitat than deforestation, that's huge. It's the conventional wisdom is still the number one reason any species is endangered or extinct is habitat destruction. That may have to be replaced very soon by climate change.
Well, one thing I hope nobody replaces is TWIS's place in their podcast feed, because, we made it to the end of another show. We have done it once again. Congratulations, you guys. You have listened to the entire show. Thank you. And I hope we didn't leave you on a sad note. Let's leave you on a happy note.
We can do it. We can all change the climate back, you guys. We can do it.
We can do it.
Save the frogs.
We can save the frogs. I would like to take this moment, and I know I can, to say thank you to our Patreon sponsors. Thank you to Chris Clark, Paul Disney, G. Burton Lattimore, Dave Friedel, John Ratnaswamy, Richard Onomus, Byron Lee, EO, Jared Lysette, Ulysses Adkins, Kevin Parachan, Andy, Keith Corsell, Jake Jones, James Randall, Eric Schwab, Bob Calder, Mark Massaros, Ed Dyer, Trainer 84, Brian Hedrick, Layla Marshall Clark, Charlene Henry, Don Kamarechka, Larry Garcia, Randy Mazuka, Tony Steele, Steve DeBell, Haroon Sarang, Melissa Mosley, Alex Wilson, Jason Schneiderman, Rudy Garcia, Greg Guthman, Dave Neighbor, Jason Dozier, Matthew Litwin, Eric Knapp, Jason Roberts, Craig Landon, Daryl Lambert, Rodney, David Wiley, Robert Aston, Darwin Hannon, Cosmic Gypsy, Brian Hone, Orly Radio, Brian Condren, Pixelfly, Marked, Nathan Greco, Hexator, Deborah Smith, Mitch Neves, Flying Out, John Crocker, Richard Porter, Christopher Dreyer, Ben Rothig, Sylvan Westby, Artyom Shuwada, Dave Wilkinson, Steve Mashinsky, Rick Ramus, Gary Swinsberg, Phil Nadeau, Braxton Howard, Sal Good Sam, Matt Sutter, Emma Grenier, Philip Shane, James Dobson, Kurt Larson, Stefan Insom, Michael George, Russell Jensen, Mountain Sloth, Jim DePoe, Tara Payne, John Maloney, Jason Olds, James Paul West, Alec Doty, Aluma Lama, Joe Wheeler, Dougal Campbell, Craig Porter, Adam Mishkan, Aaron Luthen, Marjorie, Paul Stanton, David Simmerly, Tyler Harrison, Columbo Ahmed. Thank you for all of your support on Patreon. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find information at patreon.com/thisweekinscience. Also, remember, you can help us out, be a producer, simply by telling your friends about TWIS. Share the love. And on next week's show, once again, we'll be broadcasting live online at 8 p.m. Pacific time, where you can watch and join our chat room. We're going to have another interview talking more about the Maryland STEM Festival, which will be very exciting. But, if you can't make it, that's cool. That's totally cool because you can find our past episodes at twist.org/YouTube and just twist.org.
Thank you for enjoying the podcast and the show. We hope that you'll come back again next week. If you haven't found it yet, then you're not listening to me now, but you can just Google This Week in Science in your iTunes directory if you can read my mind. Or if you have a mobile type device, you can look for TWIS, the number 4 Droid app in the Android marketplace, or simply This Week in Science in anything Apple marketplacey.
But Justin, maybe they found TWIS on our website, where you can listen to the show, watch past recordings, and find more information on anything that you've heard here today. That'll be in the show notes, and that website is www.twist.org. And you can also, while you're there, make comments and start conversations with the hosts as well as other listeners.
Or you can contact us directly. Email Kirsten at thisweekinscience.com, Justin at twistminion@gmail.com, or Blair at blairbaz@twist.org. Just be sure to put TWIS, TWIS, somewhere in the subject line, or your email will be spam filtered into oblivion. You can also hit us up on the Twitter, where we are at TWIS Science, at Dr. Kiki, at Jacksonfly, and at Blair's Menagerie. We love your feedback. If there's a topic you would like us to cover or address, a suggestion for an interview, a haiku that comes to you in the night, please let us know.
We'll be back here next week, and we hope you'll join us again for more great science news.
Yeah, and if you've learned anything from today's show, remember,
It's all in your head.
This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science, it's the end of the world. So I'm setting up shop, got my banner unfurled. It says the scientist is in, I'm gonna sell my advice. Show them how to stop the robots with a simple device. I'll reverse global warming with a wave of my hand. And all it'll cost you is a couple of grand. 'Cause this week's science is coming your way. So everybody listen to what I say. I use the scientific method for all that it's worth. And I'll broadcast my opinion all over the earth. 'Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 I've got one disclaimer and it shouldn't be news. That what I say may not represent your views, but I've done the calculations and I've got a plan. If you listen to the science, you may just better understand that we're not trying to threaten your philosophy. We're just trying to save the world from jeopardy. And This Week in Science is coming your way. So everybody listen to everything we say. And if you use our method instead of rolling a die, we may rid the world of toxoplasma. Got the eye. 'Cause it's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. Science. I've got a laundry list of items I want to address. From stopping global hunger to dredging Loch Ness. I'm trying to promote more rational thought, and I'll try to answer any question you've got. So how can I ever see the changes I seek when I can only set up shop 1 hour a week? This Week in Science is coming your way. You better just listen to what we say. And if you learned anything from the words that we've said, then please just remember it's all in your head. 'Cause It's This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in Science. This Week in Science. This Week in Science. 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 This Week in 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 Science.
And now we dance you till the dawn. I loved that post-show dance there, Blair, with your bubbly bubbleness. Nice. Those are bubbles of joy. Exactly, Ed.
Yeah, but I
Joy
did make
dream
a mess in my
bubbles.
room.
You made it's probably splatty bubble sauce everywhere.
Splatty bubble sauce. You got it.
That's right. So we got something last week, and
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can show you them. Show them to you.
okay.
Might be dangerous.
Did you get a Scottish fold?
No, not a Scottish fold.
Well, welcome to the after show, people.
There's bubbles everywhere.
Welcome to the
Who put all
after
these
show.
bubbles everywhere? Why is my room so slippery?
What's going on, minions, in the hangout?
Justin.
Blair Baz, best post-show dance ever.
But Justin, look at.
I saw that. I love it. Oh, I can't wait. That is fan-freaking-tastic.
I'm so close to being done with the calendar.
Wow. Congrats.
Here, I haven't even shown the face of this on the internet yet. Are you guys ready? Just for those of you that stuck around. Yes! You
What is
got
it?
a toxo magnet.
What?
Kiki got a kitchen. But this is what I was going to show you guys.
Hold on, I'm gonna lose a kitten.
Oh my God.
That's a big kitten. That's a cat. What did you hold up? Was it a cuttlefish? I missed it. What was it?
No, I'll
Squid?
show it
I
again,
didn't-
but let's focus on the animal.
No, let's not. Let's change the subject quickly.
No, I'm
Ah!
staring in on the cat. Look at
I
it.
can't fight it, so I'm going to run.
Kiki, what's its name?
Doesn't have a name yet.
Oh, you gotta name it.
No.
Is it a boy cat or a girl cat?
Girl cat, and she's got a sister that we have too. We got two.
You
I'll bring the
got
other one in
two.
a second.
Are they indoor, outdoor?
They're gonna be indoor.
Indoor. That's good. No toxo.
Hey, kitty.
Oh my goodness.
That's not a kitten. That's a cat.
Okay,
That's a
look at
straight
this, Justin.
cat.
See, look at that.
Oh, an iguana. I mean,
Nope.
chameleon. Chameleon, sorry.
Yes. Yes. Look at him. He's a little grumpy.
Oh, he looks like he's smiling a little bit. He seems happy.
No. He's not really.
Yeah, kind of.
He's kind of nonplussed. Yeah. And then, I finished the Dragonfly this weekend as yeah.
Oh, nice. That's very cool. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to make some hippos. And then I just have, I think I only have the cover to do after that.
Isn't the cover usually one of the...
Nope. Well,
I mean,
Some people do it that way.
Traditional
I don't.
calendars.
See, okay, let me show you what I've
Because the
started
idea
for the
is that
calendar.
piece of art won't ever be.
But it
shown.
will if you buy it before the year starts and you hang it with pride. Hold on.
Oh. Yeah. Yes. Dr. Kiki's home is now Justin Free Zone. Yeah.
Okay. So
Why can it's like
this
so
is the hippos.
psychosomatic? I can now smell like cat poop. I can
Yeah.
smell a cat tray.
yeah.
From
So
having
this
seen a cat.
is where the hippos are gonna live.
Oh.
And then this is for the cover. Does everyone remember what the cover looked like last year?
Hey, I know my home is.
My
showing.
own secret art project is in. I need to work on it.
So they don't have names yet? Do you have ideas?
Well, I don't know. Kai wants to name them after Pokemon characters. So, I mean, there are some cute Pokemon characters. Like one is called. There's one called Squirtle. I think.
Yeah,
that's kinda
Squirtle's
cute.
good.
It's kind of Squirtle's a cute name.
I feel like you're just asking for Squirtle as a cat to have a leaky anal gland, though.
I'm just gonna. Yeah. Okay. We are not going there.
The secret
if you
project.
never met a cat with a leaky anal gland, it's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah.
That is
So secret project. Justin is got base paint on, but
Nice.
hasn't been
Excellent.
doing the thing yet. It's kind of doing it already a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a relief, right?
I want to show my other kitty cat. She's
Yeah.
I
cute.
don't have the eyes
He has,
yet. So
he has more
next
claws
week I'll have
than that.
eyes. It'll be a little bit more interesting.
Eyes on the art. You're doing that. The
Yeah.
painting with the starry eyes.
Yeah, no. So this entire thing here, see this frame?
It's all gonna be starry eyes.
So the frame and the back, it's all one solid piece.
Yep.
This is all cast plastic. And then this is canvas on the yellow part. And then this is indented into it, right? But once painted, it should hopefully look like it's a relief. I've got the base on there that I can paint over. But I got more work to do. Maybe I'll do it right now.
Edna. Edna's cute.
I'm trying to think what you could name them.
I know. One of them, there's the one they're both 5-month-old sisters. One is the tabby, gray tabby, and then the other is has more white on her. She's cute, little bit of tabby, but mostly white. She's really sweet. I don't know. They're so sweet. I'm just I like them.
If I had three cats, I'd name them Toxo, Plasma, and Gandhi.
I think you should name them Mary Curie and Ada Lovelace.
Right. I love it. Mary and Ada.
Yeah.
Curie and Lovelace.
Yes. Yes. That's cute.
Mm-hmm. Tabby and Snow. Could be Snow. Snowflake. Sparkle. Yes,
I took a long yawn. That means I'm smart.
You have a big brain, Blair.
It makes you yawn.
Oh my
When you said yawn, it made me yawn.
Yawn.
I just yawn.
Yawn. Yawn.
Yawn.
Yawn. Yawn.
I'm turning off your audio.
Yawn. It really works. I'm gonna put that in my pocket for later. That's a good trick to have.
Can't hear you now, so it's fine.
Yeah, sniffles, and it's not allergies. I gotta have a cold.
No, just take 1,000,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
I know. I've been drinking. I've been eating chicken soup and taking zinc lozenges. And
That's good.
I'm working on it. I'm gonna make it go away. I will zinc it away.
Zinc? I thought zinc didn't work. I thought that was like one of those fake.
No. One of the forms of zinc is one of the few things that has evidence that it does work.
Oh, okay.
Was echinacea another? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. I think you could go to Jamba Juice and drink some grass.
Touch that. Okay, zinc for colds, the final word from the Mayo Clinic.
Bunnies.
But are you sure you want to check because you think it works? So why would you look further?
Recently, an analysis, this is from the Mayo Clinic, analysis of several studies showed that zinc lozenges or syrup reduced the length of a cold by 1 day, especially when taken within 24 hours of the first signs and symptoms of a cold. Taking zinc regularly might reduce the number of colds each year, the number of missed school days, the amount of antibiotics required in otherwise healthy children. If it's rhinovirus, zinc may work by preventing the rhinovirus from multiplying. It could also stop it from lodging in the mucous membranes of the nose and the throat. And the lozenge or the syrup form might be working because it allows the substance to stay in the throat and come in contact with the rhinovirus. Nobody actually really recommends
Mechanism
it.
unknown, but
Excuse me while I sniff.
Have less cold there.
Yeah. You don't want to take too much zinc, though. That's not really a super problem. Let's see. And echinacea, cold. Let's see what they say there. Because I remember there was something. I do not. Here we go. Mayo Clinic. I trust the Mayo Clinic more than I trust WebMD. Mm-hmm. And some echinacea supplements might shorten the duration of a cold by half a day and reduce symptom severity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. May. Yeah. It's mixed evidence on the echinacea.
Would it still work if you crushed it into their morning beverage and they didn't know they were taking it?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't know. Placebo or no? That's what I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and experts, vitamin C won't actually help the average person prevent colds. If you take vitamin C before the onset of cold symptoms, it may shorten the duration. Vitamin C may provide benefit at high risk of colds.
This is apparently why they're called the Mayo Clinic.
It may
May work.
May work.
May happen.
That's
you may experience this.
Yes. There was this yummy
arsenic. Arsenic is apparently good though too. Like
exactly.
No, I'm not kidding. Like this was one of the things that if you have a high levels of arsenic in drinking water, which is discovered in wells in Mexico around one of the outbreaks of the I think it was the swine flu epidemic that started up, is that the mortality rates were apparently lower in areas where they had wells contaminated with high levels of arsenic. And part of the reasoning was the arsenic was priming the immune system to work harder,
to be fighting,
to be more active. And so when the virus came along, it was already in fighting fitness. Right? It was ready to take something on. Maybe that's what zinc is doing. It's your body's trying to fight it off, and
it's very possible.
We don't know. Yeah.
And then homeopathy. It's a slippery, slippery slope, I tell
Well,
you.
no, I don't think it is. I think the slippery slope is homeopathy. I think everything up till then isn't.
Right. Listen to
So
the evidence.
Dr. Justin's poop pills will be including a micro amount of arsenic,
Of
which
arsenic.
will increase.
Oh, that's no good. Oh, did you see the study? Dementia study lists everyday factors that might influence the risk of dementia. Basically, vitamin
Children?
D deficiency and air pollution.
Oh.
So go outside, but don't go outside.
Right. Go outside if you have a fire in the fireplace and lots of candles and a charcoal burning stove. Maybe you should go outside because you don't want indoor air pollution. But then if you like, who was it in on Twitter? It was it Kevin Parachan said outdoors, but I'm right next to 580. So if you're right next to a freeway, maybe don't go stand next to the freeway. Go to a park somewhere away from the freeway. Yeah, but outside, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Tough call. Do we have a place to stay in Baltimore yet?
Oh, yeah. Didn't you guys see it?
So there's an awesome place that Patrick, that I'm hoping. That,
Totally rad.
yes,
I want
but it costs
to stay there.
me.
But not that much.
And so I've been, the Maryland STEM Festival said that they would get back to me this week about whether they could do a hotel or not. And if they can't, then we'll probably look into this place that Patrick knows about.
Can they pay for that place, which might be convenient?
They'll cover part of it. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
We will see.
It didn't.
Yes, it's part of the budget.
Maybe I didn't. I didn't read far enough then because I thought it sounded like it was bargain beyond bargain. But maybe I'm wrong.
But if nobody has to pay for a place to stay, it's the best thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A good hotel room, not costing money. It's great for everyone.
Awesome.
Yes, great. And then my other question was, I didn't see our thing on the Hey Words. On the National Aquarium.
No, I've looked and they had a meeting supposedly at the end of last week. I don't know. So it's not being advertised, which is a bit concerning.
Okay.
Because, I would expect if the National Aquarium is doing this with the Maryland STEM Festival, they'd want to put something on their website about it, but they haven't yet. And so my fingers are crossed that they will, because then we'll be able to link to it. But as of now, as far as I know, it's just us going, hey, but I have had a conversation with people from the National Aquarium.
Oh, that's good.
So, and they were like, yes, this is what we can do. And there were lots of, it was people saying they could do things. So
that's great.
So do we know what the setup is? Like, we did the Arts and Sciences San Francisco place.
Yeah.
Right. And we had that little mini auditorium.
I don't know where they're going to put me. When we spoke, they said they had several potential locations. I'm guessing they're going to put us in a closet in like the darkest corner of the wettest part of the aquarium.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
and like roll our microphone cords right through saltwater puddles.
Yeah, totally. No,
I think that National Aquarium's got some serious issues if there's going to be saltwater puddles laying around. But if
Justin, I'll tell you something. It's just part of being an aquarium.
It's part of being an aquarium. But no, what would actually be kind of fun, and I don't know how they're set up at all, but like if I'm thinking like Monterey Aquarium, they've got some of those behind the scenes back areas where like you're on the roof. It's the place where like the sea lions can come up and down from, right? That's where the divers go in. Like someplace sort of behind the scenes would be kind of fun. Or, even better. This would be ideal. This would be the number one choice.
In the tank.
In an exhibit that's down for remodeling or reconstruction, or they're just cleaning it out and you're going to let us go in there, set up, and we could be in an aquarium thingy during this. That would be really rad. That'd be so fun. Might be a little echoey, but it would still be awesome.
Nice.
That would be so awesome.
Well, I have a feeling they're going to put us where there's some amphitheater seating.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there's more than one spot in the aquarium where that exists.
Yeah, we'll see where they put us. They say they've done stuff like this before, so I have.
What's the weather going to be like there when we're there?
That's a great question. It's still like, 2.5 weeks out, so I have no idea.
But what's November in
Hurricane?
Baltimore
It's hurricane season or something, isn't it?
See,
No, it's not. It's probably just like windy, right?
weather, Baltimore. Well, right now it's 57 degrees. No, 50. Tomorrow it'll be 57 degrees.
Okay.
Sure.
And then next week it'll be in the 70s, but rainy.
Rain.
That'd be nice.
And let's see. Let's look at the forecast. I went the extended forecast. Where's my
Ben
Wonderground?
Rothick says it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold, Blair.
You're just saying that because I'm always cold.
Well, 10-day forecast has it low 60s on,
That's not
on the 22nd. I don't know if we can go further out than that calendar forecast. Dun, dun, dun,
Then
dun.
it shows like annual or yearly
Dun, dun,
averages or
dun,
something.
dun. November 2016. Whoa. Average 61 degrees.
Mhm. Mhm.
High
Mhm.
40 degrees. Low. Not necessarily storming or raining or anything.
Okay. Great. I'll just bring some fun scarves.
And even though I've got a computer device in front of me, how far away are we from the DC thing? Are we going to get to do sightseeing, or is that too
DC?
far away?
We
No.
could. I mean, it's a train ride. It's
Yeah, we could. But
my friend that lives in Baltimore works in DC, so she commutes every day
Okay.
Really?
via
So
train.
it's possible.
Wow.
It's possible, but I feel like we're gonna have enough to do in Baltimore.
I know. That's what I would think.
Although I
haven't-
would not mind a trip to the National Zoo.
I would like to see the Statue of Liberty. That would be nice.
Well, that's a longer trip.
Didn't you
And then the
see
thing with
that
all the
already?
faces of the presidents, that one
Uh-huh.
would be
That's an even longer trip.
pretty. Yeah. But then, okay, maybe I don't. Maybe Baltimore's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we'll go have lunch with John Waters. Isn't that a thing that you do in Baltimore?
We go see John. Can I go see John Waters? I want to see John Waters.
Yeah, I love John Waters.
Oh.
His is my favorite Christmas album. I have a John Waters Christmas album that my family listens to.
Oh
every
yeah,
year.
we'll see the Space Needle. We'll go to the top of the Space Needle in Baltimore. That'll be awesome.
Boy. That's going to
You
be an
guys didn't need it for
expensive
this.
trip.
You could see
52
past it.
degrees where Hot Rod is right now. That's right. Blair's learning how to play the harmonica, everyone.
And I want to see the. I think Baltimore is also. They've got the Liberty Bell there. We should go get some selfies in front of that. That'd be a good trip. What is in Baltimore? I don't have no idea what's in Baltimore.
I told you, John Waters.
There's John Waters and his
and the National Aquarium.
and
and
the National-
Divine.
And crab.
And crab. I'm going to eat so many shellfish.
Okay.
I'm going to eat so many shellfish, you're going to think I'm selfish.
Selfish? Are you selfish when it comes to shellfish?
I am.
37 in Wisconsin right now. Is it already that cold?
Mark
Isn't it-
says the Inner Harbor is gorgeous.
Great.
Good. Whiskey Renegades goes to the Ravens football game.
Baltimore
Observation 4.
Harbor.
Although, I guess DC would be kind of a waste of time to go to with Blair anyway.
Why?
Because you'd be like, don't look. But I want to take a picture. Keep the camera down. Keep walking like you belong here.
Oh yeah, and Ed says the Baltimore Science Center. We should go there.
Oh, that's great.
Don't stick out. Don't look like a tourist, Justin. But I want to look.
I believe there's a pizzeria we have to eat at as well.
That's always a good suggestion.
No, didn't Patrick, who helped me make the calendar last year?
Yeah.
Is that in Baltimore? Yeah.
Yes.
Ed says there's a Baltimore Science Center.
That's what I was just saying. Yes.
Baltimore. Where is Baltimore?
Whoa, freeze warning tonight in Wisconsin.
Oh, we're going to the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So have you guys heard about this self-balancing bike that BMW motorcycle
That sounds like something I need.
Self-balancing motorcycle? It's a motorcycle, not a bike.
Oh.
Motorcycle.
That-
And it's self-balancing. And so
already
it's like
self-balancing.
it's this
You're a bicycle.
cool Tron-looking concept vehicle. But the thing about it that just they're all their design stuff, they're like, you're not going to need to wear a helmet anymore. You'll just have smart glasses that'll give you like a heads-up display of navigation and speed and all that kind of stuff.
No.
And I'm like, seriously, you have a bike that you think is never going to be hit by another vehicle? I'm sorry. If you're on a motorcycle, you should wear protection.
I was just talking to someone about this today. It's not because you're going to make a mistake. It's everyone else.
Everyone else, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
But a lot of the motorcycle accidents I'm familiar with were like
People leaning too far over.
Well, yeah, and hitting something. It was usually like it's usually like the last one I heard. A guy tore his ACL, went down pretty bad. Hit a tree is I think what really messed him up. But he came around a corner
He's still
really
hitting
quick.
Something else. You want to wear a helmet.
He went another 50 feet. Oh yeah, he still was wearing a helmet and everything. Otherwise, he might not have survived.
Exactly.
But it was an unexpected, like a stick in the road or something, that caused the front wheel to lose traction. That caused the accident. Just a little stick. Just a little,
I just like
detritus.
These concept vehicles. It's like, this is our design concept. And they're seriously not taking reality into account. And it's fancy video. You're never going to have to wear a helmet again. No, you still exist in the real world and you are riding really fast on a vehicle. And if you're unprotected and something goes wrong that your vehicle can't control for, you should be controlling for it yourself by wearing protection. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, she's like I'm looking at the video now. She's not even
responsibility.
She's not even wearing leather at all. She's just wearing like yoga pant material all over her body.
I'm never going to fall off. I'm going to wear my yoga pants. That's it. What else?
With our bike, the rider will be able to
I like identity for it, but it's fancy. Fancy things don't have problems.
focus on the
right?
rider experience.
Yes, the rider experience, because nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah, I have never focused on the experience of driving a car while I've been driving it. What have I been doing with my life?
And then Hot Rod said, if it self-balances, how do you lead into a corner?
That's a great question. It doesn't go above like 10 miles an hour.
Right.
It just goes super slow. Like those hoverboards.
There's like a whole bunch of things to do. Jonestown is apparently in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And they have a little Italy. And there's a national aquarium and a top of the world observation level
Okay,
to something.
great. How about
The Inner Harbor.
breweries?
There are breweries in Baltimore. Faux show.
Great. I'll be there.
American Visionary Art Museum with unusual rotating exhibits by self-taught artists. 2 sculpture plazas and garden.
Sure, we'll find all sorts of things.
And everything seems pretty close together too for all those the Inner Harbor. Looks like it's got a whole bunch packed in. Pretty close. Where is the? I gotta find. Oh, and the National Aquarium is there
Yes.
in the Inner Harbor. So this is where we're
I
going
hear
to
they have a special event on November 4th.
kind of hang out. Do they now?
We might want to check it out.
Yeah, did you guys know that Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg are having a potluck dinner party on
Well,
VH1?
that's not news. They have them all the time. Oh, they're televising this.
It's televised. Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg. It's called Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party on VH1.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what is happening with me
Well,
yet
well-
anymore. I am
We're talking
so.
about- No, they've been buds for. I think they were Sully's.
Hey, weren't they
once upon a time.
soulmates, right?
No, but they've been like buds for a really long time.
That's because Martha Stewart likes to smoke the chronic, right? No.
Well, I don't know.
Totally.
I
don't
actually,
know
I
about
think
this at all.
I don't know if she, but she. I don't know that she smokes it. Let's
She
not.
probably bakes delicious brownies.
Does
is
and
what
she
she
grows in her
Yes.
garden. She has this amazing garden that has attracted worldwide attention.
Yeah, she would never smoke it. She'd have to bake it into things.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is a seasonal pumpkin spice macaroon with a
It's,
special herb flavor.
full moon harvest season pumpkin.
Seasonal kind herbs.
Oh,
There's a Jonestown. There's a Washington Hill. There's a downtown.
Brian Cox
Ooh,
says
it's a
that
hippo
aliens
theater.
are dead. There's a
What?
hippo theater.
I'm sorry, what?
Hippodrome.
Hippodrome theater.
Oh, that's not actually hippos, though. That's
Not
Greek.
actually hippos. No, Brian Cox, British science dude.
Says.
We haven't met aliens because they're dead.
Huh?
And humans are next.
Okay.
Yeah, his claim is that everybody kills themselves off. This is fantastic. Oh, go Brian Cox.
It's like a closing loop
So hold up.
on every planet.
Now hold up.
Yeah.
There's a great amount of truth and wisdom to what he just said. You look at the 100,000 years or so of just the human evolution, and yet we're in,
identity. What?
and we're in year 2000 of recording that history. And since we started recording history, we've been advancing incredibly in our technology. Really, just in the last 50, 60 years or so. 100 years has been awesome. 150 years, we'll even give it, right? Incredible amounts of technology advancement. How many of you out there listening can actually picture a civilization Earth in the year 100,000?
Not likely.
Like, yeah, right? Like, it's kind of like overpopulation, war, technology just increases the killing power, we pollute, destroy the planet, becomes inhospitable. Like, we're heading. It's just like
But life could start again between then and
2050.
now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the year 2150. Yeah, I could see it coming to that, getting there.
But then,
The
yeah, there
year
could be crab people or
90,000?
lizard people.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be people, but it is sort of daunting. There is a sort of period where technology advances to a certain point where it sort of reminds me of like clams that populate a lake bed or something. And then they get to this overpopulation point where they've used all the nutrients and they're competing against each other, and then there's a mass starvation event and they almost all die off. And then slowly over time they start building up again.
I think it's a matter of looking at life. What his conjecture is, and I'm going to say it's conjecture, is that it's a matter of looking at life forms on the planet. Most life forms work fairly sustainably because they're controlled by other life forms. But when no other controlling factors are at play, they tend to use up resources. And so you end up with totally hypoxic areas of the ocean because bacteria are using up all the oxygen in that area and things die. Humans have come in. There's nothing controlling us. We control resource use, and we are overusing. We're using all of our resources, and we're going to use them all up, and then we're either something's going to happen. Either we figure out how to be sustainable and our population can live sustainably somehow on the planet into the future, then we continue to survive. But if we can't figure out how to be sustainable, the next step is to get off the rock before the bad stuff happens. And so the question for extraterrestrial populations is, if we look at ecology the same way as use of resources, you'd probably guess that most advanced civilizations, at least to our stage, would probably do something similar. Mm-hmm. Use up, if you're the highest life form on the planet, right, you're in control of the resources.
No restrictions or regulation.
No restrictions. And unless you've figured it out early enough, mm-hmm, then you're going to use up all your resources.
Right. And this is something humans have noticed in the past and have brought to the front, but it's a very unpopular idea. And it's one that it's an idea that I've never been able to get behind personally in my own personal life or even ideologically, but might be the only thing that, because the sustainability factor is impossible with the near exponential over time human growth rate and population. So with sustainability would have to be an element of population control. And how you implement something like that is dreadful, to the point that nobody on an individual level would accept it for themselves. And therefore, as a greater population, we may never be able to do this in any sort of way. But that's the part that I think then becomes the path to our own destruction, is that we refuse to limit that.
To limit the one thing. Yeah.
The thing that is most essential to being a life form, which is procreating.
Right.
That's the rub.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shakespeare would say, if he were.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting thing that, Stephen Hawking, these big voices that people listen to, the big thinkers of our time. It's interesting that they bring this kind of stuff up, and Brian Cox might totally believe this idea, but the interesting point to talk about is that he has a big bully pulpit, and if he can get people thinking about the reasons why aliens might be all dead and why we might end up there too, his space fanatic audience, if they start listening and thinking, then maybe more people will start thinking about no growth, ecological, or slow growth ecological economics, as opposed to the capitalistic style that we have, right, or population control, or maybe problem. More ideas will become possible.
But here's the problem with that.
It's too late.
No, it's not too late.
No.
Here's the problem with that scenario, Kiki, and which is my biggest objection to this whole thing, which is that, great, the people who get this will stop procreating. Everybody who doesn't get
You're talking about the plot of Idiocracy.
Yep, it is the plot of Idiocracy.
Really? This has always been the problem with this issue. It's like, great, so all those scientific-minded, liberal-thinking, long-term planning for planet Earth people will stop procreating and will become more and more of a minority over time, and so then the problem accelerates itself.
Yep.
There's no solution to this that I can see, and that's part of why it's taking place, I think. Why it's unavoidable. Why this is
you haven't seen Idiocracy?
No.
You need to see that.
I'm trying to find
movie.
the main explanation of how it happened. I think
Oh,
I
so
found
it's
it.
not a book, so I have an opportunity. I can,
It's
because I've
on the
forgotten
mo-
how to read a while ago. It is a book. Okay.
Here
Is
we
it a
go.
movie?
Watch this 2-minute clip, Justin. I just put in the chat room.
Oh.
Never Ed. Oh my gosh, you're funny. Gord, you can't find Idiocracy? It's totally available.
It's got a deep voice
Isn't it on
narrator,
Netflix?
so I already believe everything that's being said.
Idiocracy is so fantastic. I really love that. Really love that movie. I do.
Dumbing down. I like Future Town. Why are they bashing on Future Town? Trevor and Carol. So these are actors. Oh no. Yeah.
Maybe we should start a YouTube trend of watching people watch the trailer for Idiocracy.
So, this is but it's exactly the point.
Right?
Oh,
It's
man.
exactly. It's like, what's happening to this world? Ah. Oh my goodness. This
All
is
right, what do we
funny.
think? Is it bedtime?
It's bedtime. This is really funny. So bored Elon Musk just tweeted what the electoral map would look like if only Trump's Twitter supporters voted. That's Russia.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Oh, that's a riot. People are funny. Sometimes they make me laugh. Most of the time, they make me not want to go on Facebook ever again.
Well, I just went on for a second, and guess what I saw? That certain people are saying that we should repeal the 19th Amendment because women aren't supporting Trump. So we should take away their ability to vote.
It's a joke, right?
No.
It's like a joke. The people, this is satire. People are like, haha, we'll just go along with this funny machine because I can't, seriously?
Let me find it now.
I'm going to open up a can of whoop.
Hashtag repeal the 19th is happening. The hashtag that's happening.
It's a joke.
Trump backers tweet hashtag repeal the 19th after polls show he'd win if only men voted. This is running in LA Times, USA Today, Huffington Post.
Yeah, okay. It's just people jumping on the bandwagon, being silly, but haha.
So White Guy has a solution in the chat room. The way we ensure that there's an intelligent portion of the population that maintains its percentage and perhaps grows, simply take the warning signs off of things. I'm so wrong, but
Warning. Warning. What warning?
Oh my goodness.
One of those jokes,
enjoyed
but not
that.
really a joke exactly, Rourke's. Ugh,
I
not really a
that way
joke.
too much.
I'm not, yes. Take the warning signs off. There we go.
Women are not fit for politics. Hashtag repeal the 19th. There we go.
Yeah. And this is actually a Russian belief, believe it or not. Russian women tend not to believe that women should be.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was some weird thing where there was, and I can't remember the story, but it was that a guy who was president had his son was kidnapped by the enemy, and he wouldn't negotiate, and so they killed him. And they were like, no woman would ever do that. That's strength of leadership. It was something of this nature. It was something that happened in the country for reals, and then became an example of why only men should lead. It was something stupid. But this is further evidence that we need Science Island. I am now an Asgardian
Oh my gosh.
citizen.
Women are also tweeting hashtag repeal the 19th. I would be willing to give up my right to vote to make Trump president. Hashtag repeal the 19th.
Yeah, well, you gave up your vote a long time ago. You have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is the problem. This is why we need a Science Island, a Earth-based headquarters for Asgardians who will maintain dual citizenship here on the planet and in space, and can find a way to remove ourselves from the immediate surroundings of those people in society who want to regress back into some ape hierarchical silver-backed or orange-backed gorilla structure. We need to.
But see, there are other species, like all of the lemur species, which are primates, female dominated.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay, I'm just saying, show me an equal society.
Okay, there were those one birds that we talked about.
No. I'm saying. I mean, humans can do that and have done that, community-wise, at least, if not on a large national. Well, even in some nations, I think there's decent equity. I'm thinking maybe Iceland is the one, the rare bird.
Finland is
but
good
communities
too.
within the country, within this country, we're like the city of Davis has, got plenty of female leadership and has for many, many years, city council, mayors, that sort of thing. It's California's the state that had 2 female senators representing it for many, many years. There's exceptions to this, but there's places where there is completely regressive thought. And, what do? You create yourself, you build a wall, is what you do. And Science Island will have really big walls. They'll have big walls, but we'll also have a very large ivory tower that we can see over the wall. And
an ivory tower, of course. We're
definitely
there's an ivory tower.
We're building an ivory. It will not be made out of ivory. Relax, Blair. It will simply be painted the color of ivory.
That's not even my concern.
And then we can look down. And it will have a broadcast.
Next thing, you're going to say that you want to make Science Island great again.
I wouldn't shoot for a mediocre Science Island. I would be, why would you try to make it mediocre? I don't even know why we would try to make it mediocre. I think we should make it great. But I don't.
Knowledge, science, intelligence.
Yeah, we base it on that kind of stuff. The good stuff. The good stuff. No, I think we'll have to pay for the paint flying out. I don't know that we can make somebody else pay for the Abbey. That would be against the objectivist, the Ayn Rand liberal in me. We'd have to find a way to pay for it ourselves.
Oh, so we'll make the ivory tower and we'll make the elephants pay for it, right?
No, we'll make poachers pay for it. That's right. We'll create a pirate ship off the coast of Kenya that'll intercept the ivory heading to China. And but then we can't make any money off of it. So how do we? Oh, we'll sail the ship that they were sailing. We'll pirate it and use the metal to construct this. So it gets complicated. I don't know how we'll do it. Step 3 is make profit. Step 1 is collect underwear.
Right. Step 2, question mark.
Oh, dear. Question mark.
All right. So things I need to do this week are get a calendar pre-order or just order button on the website. That's something I need to do this week. Need to confirm where we are going to stay in Baltimore. And is there anything else I need to do this week other than put the podcast up for TWIS? Anybody in the chat room know what I'm supposed to do? What do I need to do this week? I have other work to do.
I think just I'm so close, Kiki. I have the cover and I have some hippos.
Yay!
And then I'm done.
Then
I'll be done.
Yay!
So hopefully the calendar will be ordered shortly. You saw my email about the different sizes, right?
Yeah,
a while back.
I need to look at that and confirm what we want to do.
Yeah.
But since it'll be easier to not have to worry about the designy stuff, right? To make it the same size as the pictures or the shape relative.
Yeah, so these ones are all horizontal this year. So I was going to do a not a square calendar, a rectangular calendar instead, and then just put like an inch of black on each side and put like legs on one corner and like I don't know, but make it a lot less complicated. So then we just have to open up that document again and check our calendar dates, our holidays and stuff, and make sure we don't want to add anything new.
Yeah, we gotta check on that. Calendar button. Thanks, Ed. What is that link? What is that link that Ben is sharing in the chat room? I'm not gonna click on it.
It's extremely long. I'm gonna click on it, but it is extremely long.
What is it?
Oh wait.
At the end of it, it says -no. That means
that's the second one. What was the one before
I think it's all connected to the one before it.
It was also supposed to be 1, I think, which is why it doesn't work.
Okay, -no. That means don't do it.
-no.
Don't do it. Too long. We can put in the work. We can do it. All right. I'm going to go to bed so that I can get over my cold.
Oh, also, yeah.
Drink.
Before we go, is any minions out there who play either Words with Friends or Chess with Friends? Hit me up.
Awesome.
Got too many slow people out there. Take turns to slow. Oh my god, that's not even a word.
I don't play those games, but Justin does. So hit him up, you guys. All right. I'm tired now. Need to get over my cold.
There was one issue I had with our website. There was No, I know. But I forgot to do it last week, and I just wanted to point it out because it's either our website or our YouTube site. Which is it? One of them has got the show, says the show's on Thursdays.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'll check it.
Let me go.
Or if you can check it and tell me what to fix.
This is the TWIS, thisweekinscience.org. Okay, that one's right. That one says 8 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays. So then it must be the YouTube. So let me go /back. Oh, stop. What did it do? Let's see. Where is This Week in Science? Where is it? Hang on. Bond. And science.
Know that in our video, I think it still says Thursday.
In the video, yeah, which is our intro. Excuse me.
Because fixing that is hard. Unless we do another one.
Just like
we need
cut
to do a little, like voiceover.
Yeah, just say Wednesdays.
Exactly, which would be totally awesome. Okay, so no, it's in the about too. In the about, it says we broadcast live each Thursday evening from 7:30ish to 9 p.m.ish Pacific Standard Time. So it's in the about also.
On YouTube?
On the YouTube channel about, yes.
Okay.
Description. So it's in both places.
Boop, de boop, de boop, view channel. Boop, de boop, de boop, view channel. About.
So if anybody's finding us there, it's hard to find us later, unless we mention, unless they stay this late in the after show and discover that it's Wednesdays that we're doing the show now.
8 to 10 p.m.-ish. Wednesday evenings. There we go. Here, I fixed it on YouTube. Awesome.
And it should be possible to get that little bit of audio edit into that YouTube video that we've got up there for the about. That's got to be doable.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays.
Actually, Wednesdays.
Actually, really Wednesdays.
Because now that we've got, what was it, 10 million subscribers to the channel,
Million. Yes.
we should probably tell them when we're live for reals.
I know. Come on Wednesdays for the live. Live each Wednesday. Okay, it's done. We did it.
Okay, we've got a nice play. We've got the uploads with the play all button now. That's perfect. Oh, I love that. And a twist shorts with the play all. What's up with Wolf Canyon at the SF Zoo? I didn't see this yet. What's this? This is new video. This is new content.
Shared it ages
I have
ago.
yet to see it.
What's new?
The What's Up with the Wolf Canyon.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
I didn't see that.
It's been months. Ooh.
I guess it has.
Okay, you guys. I think it's time to go. Go watch a Wolf Canyon video. We'll be back next week. And if we think of anything interesting and funny, it'll be the social medias, or you can game with friends with Justin. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back again next week.
Hooray.
Say goodbye, Blair.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Bye, 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 bye,
Goodbye,
bye,
Justin.
bye.
Goodbye, Justin.
Goodbye, Kiki.
Goodbye, Kiki.